This is the Mother live stream. We're speaking everything around the agent. I'm Francesco, I'm leading developer relation at Consensus, and today we're speaking about Noah AI. We have a special guest, Sparsh. It's great to have you here. Um, I think. Do you wanna quickly introduce yourself and let us know, how you came into kind of like the agentic space in the first place?
Sure. First of all, thanks for having me. And guys, I'm Sparsh, the CEO of NoAI, and been in the space for more than half a decade now. Started my journey as a blockchain developer, and the first thing that we worked on was account abstraction in 2021, a year before Vitalik. And now we're working on Noah. So the reason we started working on Noah was because of a personal problem. So we were we launched Plena on Solana, and what happened was we were thinking of building something similar to Pump Fun, but for apps on Solana. And the problem was I didn't know how to code in Rust, neither did any of my dev. And we were looking for a development agency or developers. It was quite difficult, and one of our investors connected us to this development agency, and they were charging us $25,000 just for Solana programs. And we agreed to pay that because we wanted those Solana programs so that we could launch. But later on, we came to know those guys were actually scamming a lot of projects. We spoke to one of the projects they were helping, and they told us that they took the money but never built the code. So we thought that, I think it's a much bigger problem to solve, right? Instead of launching this launchpad, because even if we launch this launchpad for apps, right, it would be super difficult for anyone to launch on that because no one will be able to build on Solana. Because like a lot of people that we were talking to as well from the EVM space, they were trying to get into the Solana ecosystem, but they weren't able to find any developers. So we started working on this idea, and with I would say basically Noah. And the first idea was that we would convert Ethereum smart contracts or EVM smart contracts into Solana programs. And we built that, I think, in early 2025. But later on, we also thought of adding this feature where users could build the front end application just like Lovable or Replit. And I would say in November
Nice.
2025, we added this feature where users could link the Solana programs with the front end application. And I would say in December 2025, 26 December, we launched the agent mode, which basically allowed users to build complete dApps with just one single prompt. So earlier, users had to build the Solana program separately and test it by clicking on a few buttons, and I would say also deploy it themselves using their wallets. But now how it works is the agent takes care of everything. And it deploys everything, it tests everything, and it also fixes everything for the user. And once everything is done, it links the Solana program with the front end application from just one single screen.
Nice, nice. Where do you see like the biggest kind of like model bottleneck on the developer, like on the developer adoption side? Is it mostly like because right now with everybody's vibe coding front ends, right? But I feel sometimes like the back end is still an issue, especially when you're dealing with a Web3 stack. I think like Solana programs is definitely like a good way to plan this at the end of the developer like journey. But I would love to also understand, like how also these pain points evolved, right? Because before was everything, now is a bit less.
Yeah, I think the agents or these different LLMs are improving a lot, and they're getting better every day, right? With every model update. And I think the biggest bottleneck could be, I think, for developers, right? So I think a lot of developers just use it directly and don't review the code for backend code, right? It's able to build a really cool front end code, and they don't test it. And I think this is what they have to focus on. And just for the same thing, right? So we didn't build Noah exactly for backend. Our main goal was to build it for smart contract development, or I would say Solana program development, right? And that's why what we've done is we've added this feature where users could basically test everything before the smart contract is deployed or Solana program is deployed. So they don't face any problem because let's say once you deploy anything on server, it could break, and you could actually get into trouble once you start getting users. So I think if there's a model that actually tests everything properly and then deploys it, I think that would be really good. Also, one more thing is no AI model could actually, if you remove super base, right? It's pretty difficult for the users to uh, like uh, handle all the DevOps by themselves, right? So I think that's a really big bottleneck for non-developers. So I think but yeah, like what I believe is, I think it's a really good tool to get started, to build something, right? To get initial users, because even if you have, let's say, close to 1,000 or 10,000 users, or even 100,000 users, you can handle a lot of things initially. And it can handle a lot of things initially. And once you get those users, you can raise some funds, and then you can hire a dev team. In fact, one, I would say, influencer did it a while ago on Solana. So he was vibe coding something on PumpFun, and he was using Noah for it. So he built a staking platform using Noah, and the coin went up to, I think, 3 million market cap. He made, I think, 100 to 200K from there. And then he hired a developer, and we gave free credits to developer to actually build something really cool for the mainnet as well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree definitely. Like the road to MVP is shorter. Right now, I have literally three agents working on Ralph, on looping in the
Yeah.
meantime. But the cool thing is that I think like the scaling part will definitely like become something interesting. People will actually look for help for scalability side, or at least like from MVP to scalability is a different one, and then other like auditing, right? I think in Web3 is a bit like more special because we want to have extra careful third party eyes on what you're building. Okay, I would say let's jump in the demo. I think for both the builders and developers hearing out here, I think like this is definitely speed run your developer journey. Let's see what you can actually build. If this is specialized in some specific kind of verticals, but let's see what you have to present. Feel free to also share your screen, of course.
Sure.
There you are.
So cool. I think the screen is visible. So we just integrated Monad. And what I'll do is I'll just build a AppCoin Launchpad, and I just have to give it one prompt, but I'll guide you through like what actually Noah is working on, or how it builds everything. So build the AppCoin Launchpad.
So just in the meantime, this is basically kind of like a wrapper AI specific for Web3 development environments, right? Just on a
Yes,
high level. Yeah. You build
exactly. Yeah.
already the
So
integration with like different Web3 provider. Like I'm just putting in my head how this is differs, for example, to I don't know, a Cursor with Claude or some other kind of like vibe coding AI tooling. But I assume like you guys build also like the integration with different kind of Web3 stacks.
yeah. So in we are using Claude for also building the front end. And for building smart contracts and Solana programs, we were using our own LLM. We basically fine-tuned DeepSeek a little bit to build Solana programs, because we tried building Solana programs, I think, in 2025, and the same thing that it wasn't able to build anything. So it wasn't even able to write code that could compile. And so we had to like develop our own, or like fine-tune our own model. So like, and later on, once we tested it, so we were working with Solana
Mhm.
Foundation to actually test a few things. So to like do the benchmark score, right, or ranking, and the same thing that Noah was able to build in just one or two prompts, uh, along with like all passing test cases, right? So it took Claude, I think, close to 70 to 80 prompts to build the same thing.
Very interesting. And I assume also the deployment is also like a build and you build the integration on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So how it works is like initially what we do is we deploy it for the users on testnet or devnet, and once they test everything, then they can deploy it on mainnet. So initially we deploy the agent deploys it for the user, so they don't have to enter a lot of details, or spend or waste a lot of time on that, like setting up a few parameters or a couple of other things. They can actually just test everything properly or share it with the community, and once they're ready to go live, they can deploy the, I would say, program, or I would say smart contract on mainnet as well. And then the smart contract is deployed using the user's MetaMask wallet. So we don't have access to the smart contract, or like we don't have ownership of the smart contract that way.
Nice. So what are we building right now? I was checking your prompt there.
Yeah. So I just entered like this form. So it will build a AppCoin Launchpad, and I just asked it to build it for free, to make it in a way that launching tokens is free, because I don't have a lot of testnet monad tokens as of now. So, but and I then also asked it to build a smart contract and link it to the app and to use black and blue theme. So it's currently building the front
Nice.
end for it, and it will move to the next step once the front end is built. And I'll show you how it works once it gets to that stage.
And a question, integration like, RPC, RPC providing, or even like a faucet. Uh, do you have these kind of like extra features that would save a lot of time? Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the cool things is that, let's say, even if you use public RPC, right? So
Hmm.
it how it works is for every IP, I think you get 50,000 requests, or even I think tens of thousands of requests every single day, right? So if you're building this application and I'm using it from my device and you're using it from your device, right? So I don't think it will be a problem. Even if you use public IP initially, this is a really cool way to save some money, so you don't have to go for the paid plan. But if you get a lot of users and you're using or building something that would require a lot of RPC calls, what we've done is we've also integrated Superbase. So once you go live, you can just ask it to use that RPC, and it will store that in the backend so that it's not exposed and you don't lose thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars by losing your API key.
Very cool. And there is, I assume, a dashboard with some specific features on some kind of NOAA dashboard or on these Web3 components. For example, if I want to use, I don't know, like I'm on an Infura side, or if I want to use specific faucets, is there like pre-configuration you can do, or you're just doing directly on the CLI side?
So for using for the user, or like how I was a bit
The
confused about
Yeah.
that.
No, on the
Mhm,
developer journey side, right? If there is some kind of like
mhm,
dashboard yeah, that you can already pre-configure some kind of like requirements that you would like Noah to build on, right? Because I assume
mhm.
there are different RPC provider out there. There are different solution, even like maybe even pre-cooked repo. I don't know. I'm just like if you're giving some direction before, or is just open-ended. Yeah.
This one is open-ended, but yeah, you can add a lot more details. Like you can
Nice.
also ask it to build, let's say, for example, if you want to set a fee percentage, right? So you can set a fee percentage for that. You can use a separate RPC and you can customize it the way you want. I just entered a really simple prompt just to show users like how easy it is to build and what it's able to do with just one short prompt. But yeah, like it's like totally up to you how like what all features you want to add and like what you want to build. And you can see here as well.
Very nice.
So
Yeah.
once it wrote the smart contract, then it compiled it, then it also wrote the test
Some
cases,
test. Mhm.
and it passed all the test cases. But what happens is, even if a few test cases fail, it just fixes the smart contract or the test
Mhm.
cases, whichever is wrong, and like it keeps on retrying until all the test cases pass. And I think it takes, I think, 2 to 3 attempts max to get all those correctly, to fix all of those. And once it's done, it deploys the smart contract. So yeah, the smart contract is deployed. We also have the address. So I'll just show
Nice.
you that on Monad Scam once again. So you can see it was deployed a minute ago,
Nice. Yes.
and you can go back to Noah. So yep, it's ready. Cool. It just built something. Let me just switch off night shift so you can see the correct colors. And you can launch a token. I'll just show you this is my wallet that is connected. So let's just launch a token.
Yes.
So I'll just call it seconds.
Very cool. Yeah. Let's see if it's working. Yeah.
Cool. And yep, I'll just switch to my MetaMask so you can see the transaction. And I'll switch back to this tab because once MetaMask closes, it stops sharing my screen. Cool. So
Very interesting. Yeah. So I mean, we have like 3 minutes left, Sparsh.
mm,
Like, what are people right now building on Noah? Do you have some kind of like metrics in terms of like how you are? I don't know, simplifying this kind of like Web3 developer journey, and how are things evolving also in the future. I'm trying to also gather information about, who are the players, but most important, like, how are things in terms of like this ecosystem grow around what you're building. And I think the other question is, obviously, I assume like your those are like X402, like, those things are integrated for agent to agent payments, and if there is also some notes around A004, if you're also like planning more agent to agent interaction, if there is how those things are kind of like being planned, or.
Sure. So I would say, yeah, like currently what users are building is what we've seen is they're mostly building DeFi and NFT related projects. And on top of it, I think some of them are also building games and mostly on Solana. But we're actually also talking about X402. So we've also integrated it, and in addition to that, we've also integrated different LLMs as well. So let's say if you want to build AI applications, for example, you want to, let's say, build a fitness tracking app and you want an agent for that, right? So you can also add Claude to it, GPT to it, and different LLMs to build that. Because what we've done is like we've partnered with different launch pads, and what we're seeing is a lot of people are actually launching their coins, and they were launching coins on Pump Fund initially. So by vibe coding something, by building apps, and what we've done is we've partnered with like Bonk Fund to basically launch the token directly from your app, and also Siren where you could raise funds for your projects. So this is currently what we're focusing on initially, and obviously improving the product. So like for example, we integrated this thing X402, and the next thing that we're working on is adding features like privacy, so users could build private apps. So we're integrating a solution on Solana, and using that, users will be able to build, I would say, apps with privacy features from next week.
Oh, tell me more on the privacy side. Are you guys doing like specific like ZK solution? Are you implementing something like from Aztec? What does it mean? Like, I assume you have some in the prompt, like some bottom, like I want to have privacy feature in my build, or how will it work from a kind of like this developer flow?
So how it would work is like it will be super easy. You don't have to like tell it like how it should build it, but you just need to explain it, okay, what you want to build and what all things should be private. And even if you don't, like, it will just build something and you can ask it like what all things are private. For example, if you want to build a DEX with privacy features, right, where all the trades are private. So it will build that. And on Solana, we're integrating magic blocks and privacy cache SDK, right, and RCM.
Mm-hmm.
So users could basically use that, and you, Noah would ask them like what you want to use. But I think initially, for what we're integrating is Magic Blocks. So, and I think a lot of people would prefer using that because it makes transactions pretty cheap as well. So, like even cheaper than Solana, and super fast. So I think if you're building a Perpdex or something similar, I think the option would be to go with Magic Blocks.
Nice. No, that's very cool. I think you also gave some insights on what's happening. So, if we're doing another like live stream in 6 months, like what's your expectation in terms of like, adoption, even like, where do you think also like, not just developer, but basically people building right now, and other builders out there, how the experience will change? I mean, in the past like 6 months, things changed so fast. I don't know. Do you have some kind of like, more DevX like prediction, vibe coding prediction? May it will be in the interaction through a chat like that. Yeah, I would love to also know, as you're kind of deeper here in the field.
I would say, like, from what I'm seeing is, although we were also like aiming for the same thing, right? The first idea was basically to build the AppCoin Launchpad, and then we switched to Noah to make it easy for users to build apps. And obviously, like, agents are improving as well. But I think what in my opinion, what a lot of people would be doing is like they'll be using tools like Noah to launch coins. And then we'll see a lot of people launching their coins on Solana, or I would say different blockchains. And yeah, I think this is going to be a big thing because a lot of people have been building meme coins and making money off of it. But now with even Pump Fund getting into the same trend, a lot of people were talking about vibe coding for a while. I think for the last 1 month, right? Everyone was talking about cloud code, and Pump Fund also launched Pump Fund. So I'm assuming a lot of people would start building these apps. And since it's so easy, I think it should be like we'll see a lot more people getting into the ecosystem, and not even like not only Web3 community would start doing this. Uh, I believe a lot of people from Web2 would also come to, I would say, Web3 to raise funds, because I think this is the place where you could actually raise funds for your project. And like this is like what I think. I think what Solana is doing is pretty insane, right? They're actually trying to build. They're trying to bring stocks on chain, right? And I think Web3 is the best place to raise funds for your project at an initial stage as well, because a lot of the people are regions and they're actually used to investing in projects at an really early stage, right? So you could actually raise funds there, and then your token is obviously live. So it's kind of like a stock exchange later on as well, which is like which you can so you can trade your stocks or I would say token. I would say 24/7, 365 days a year.
Nice, nice. Sounds good. Awesome. Thank you so much, Sparsh. It was a pleasure with you. And again, thanks so much for the demo. Let's just have another chat soon. And in the meantime, I would definitely test out now and build some Web3 dApps and seeing how also this facilitates my developer journey. And thanks everyone for listening. Appreciate the time and
Thanks for having
looking
me.
forward for